This Titan build is perfect for those gilding the Conqueror seal or just farming the weekly Grandmaster Nightfall. A great blend of survivability and lethality, and is versatile enough to be used in any Nightfall. I've used it in LFG groups on the harder options such as the Lightblade and completed it on the first time of trying. The key draw to this build is utilising Void Overshield to provide yourself and your team with the survivability and the utility it provides. We've got great seasonal support with the mods Unto the Breach, Detective Breach and Supernova. Be sure to check if a weekly rotating surge is also lined up with Void for 25% more damage to any Void based gear or weapons. But even without this build does great. You can still get the damage boost too by using featured weapon types. So how does this Void Overshield work? It gives you a 45 HP overshield on top of your existing shields and health. But this overshield also has an inherent 50% damage reduction, which stacks on top of your resilience, capping out at 65% with 10 resil, which you should absolutely be running. The Strand enthusiast may be thinking, so what? Woven Mail can do the same, and to that I say, why not both? These will stack together to make you almost unkillable. If you're having trouble in the Grandmaster, a Void and Strand user in one fire team will make it so much easier, and that's guaranteed. The same applies to any other damage resist sources. And the ways to get an overshield are plentiful. Let's start with the easiest. Drop a barricade with a Bastion aspect equipped. It will immediately give a full overshield to you and nearby teammates, and being behind the barricade will continually refresh the overshield. In a lot of encounters, you can simply sit yourself next to a barricade and the resistance will be enough to counteract any damage taken. For Season of the Deep, you can also get a full Void Overshield by picking up a Void Breach, which are generated from defeating any enemy with Void abilities or Void debuffs. Our melee ability Shield Throw will also give a partial Void Overshield for each enemy hit, and any weapon with Repulsive Brace can provide Void Overshields on defeated Void debuff targets. As the intended use for this build is in Grandmaster content, I'll also go over how to play different encounters. In Ad Heavy encounters, I loot my abilities with the chosen exotic Heart of Inmost Light, which provide us with overshields, weakened enemies, and our Void Weapons volatile rounds. These volatile rounds can easily clear out groups of red bar ads, and the tougher yellow bar or champions can also be weakened and then melted as a team. I'll go over good weapon choices later. For bosses or high pressure encounters, you can place a Ward of Dawn for a point to recover health, or place on a res for a guaranteed pickup. Placing a rally barricade halfway out of a Ward of Dawn gives the safest peak shots possible, as well as you will be getting the inherent weapon damage buff provided by Weapons of Light. Abilities are also a big part in clearing Grandmasters quickly, and our other chosen aspects, fragments and exotics will ensure we have great uptime with these. Offensive Bulwark gives you a scaling multiplier to our grenade recharge, and our melee abilities will deal more damage. Heart of Inmost Light empowers and restores ability energy on each ability used. Void Breaches will give us class ability energy each time they're picked up, and any kill while we have Devour active will also provide grenade energy. Let's go over a full breakdown of our class options. Go with a Ward of Dawn Super, Rally Barricade for its shorter cooldown and great bunkering potential, Shield Throw Melee as it can be used at a range and provides a Void Overshield, Vortex Grenade as it has great AoE damage and can be used as a weaken source. The aspects we've already covered as Bastion and Offensive Bulwark. And finally Fragments. Echo of Starvation for Devour on all or Void Breed pickup, which is a very strong passive effect to have. Echo of Persistence to increase Overshield and Devour length. Echo of Undermining as it is what allows our grenades to weaken. And Echo of Instability will give our Void weapons volatile rounds on grenade defeats. Weapon choices I swap between a few options depending on the champions present in the GM. For a heavy option I do stick to Commemoration Bow. Fantastic Void LMG to benefit from volatile rounds and has a strong enough ammo economy to double up as an Ad Slayer and boss damage. The type and LFR can be used if you want a longer range alternative. If a strike has barrier champions, I cannot recommend Wishender enough. It has enough damage to one-shot GM ads, which I don't believe possible with any other primary weapon, and will wipe out barrier champ's shield with ease. This leaves our energy slot to deal with either Overload or Unstoppables. Overload Trace, especially to avoid Hollow Denial, was perfect here. It can roll with Repulsive Brace too for even more overshields. Unstoppable Glaive is the way to go. The Ecliptic Distaff is available to everyone from the Monuments to Lost Light in the tower if you do not already own it, and has the static role of destabilising rounds and replenishing Aegis. Glaives are very slept on. Don't worry yourself too much with the melee, but the projectile and shield are absolutely fantastic. Look at how we utilise the shield here to block damage, which would 100% result in a death otherwise. You can tank bosses even in the Lightblade, so your team can get in safe damage, or you could use it to pick up revives in dangerous situations. For those comfortable in doing so, you can run double special using Arbalist as a kinetic anti-barrier weapon. This will result in much more heavy drops, so much so that you can pretty much use a commemoration as your primary weapon. The champ types are a combination of Overload and Unstoppable, such as the Corrupted. I found using Limonarch alongside with a chill clip of kinetics such as Riptide to be perfect. There's quite a lot to this build. We'll give it a go and I'm sure you will come to appreciate the gameplay loop very quickly. It's great to have that extra layer of survivability. The worst thing is spending time going through a GM just to be sent back to orbit minutes before the end. You didn't really have to sacrifice any lethality for this. In fact, having Weaken as an option speeds up the process of boss and champion melts a bunch. If you have not got Conqueror in the past, now will be the time to do so. I'll show on screen now an in-game breakdown of all the different parts of this build, including the armor mods I used too. Thank you for watching.